Hi, everyone. This is Toni Sears with the Kentucky Small Business Development Center in Louisville, and I have the pleasure of being here with Tracy Green from Kinetic Energy, Core, and Cardio here in Louisville, Kentucky. So, Tracy, I want to thank you first of all for joining me and talking about pivoting in your business. But if we could go ahead and start out, you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Toni. So, Kinetic Energy Core and Cardio is my little Pilates studio. It actually originally was going to be an in person studio. I've been working on the business plan for a few years. I teach at another gym here in Louisville and work a full time job in public relations. So, Kinetic Energy Core and Cardio has been my kind of side project for the past few years, trying to get it ready to go. And then 2020 happened.
Yeah, 2020 is that for everybody, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was looking up the word pivot because you hear it so often. And I found that entrepreneur.com had the best one for me. They said, hey, it's a buzzword referring to significant business change. But a pivot is usually intended to help a business recover from a tough period. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you. I know you started in the middle of COVID and you had these dreams of having an in studio. So
hmm
can you tell me about how did you feel, I guess, having to make that pivot? And let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, really, my dream had been kind of a small, in person, kind of boutique style studio. And I had been working on my business plan. It was going to require a decent amount of capital investment to get a building leased and get it renovated and get all the equipment in there. So I was really kind of fine tuning that business plan and trying to put everything in place to figure out that financial component. And then when the coronavirus hit and all the gyms shut down, I saw that as an opportunity to start doing some online classes. It really wasn't something I had thought about. I really enjoy kind of the interpersonal connections that I get working with people one on one in the studio or in small group classes. But I thought to myself, like, we're all stuck at home right now. Everybody's fitness routines are thrown off. Could I start teaching online instead? And I got really positive response right away, had way more people interested than I thought would be, and decided to actually move forward with that as kind of a business unto itself. And after I had a few classes that I did just through like Facebook Live, just kind of ad hoc on the fly classes, I reached out to you, Toni, and got some advice on how to kind of set up a business and make sure I was doing everything correctly from kind of a taxing standpoint and a liability standpoint, and kind of formalized that as a business. And now that's kind of what I'm known for, is these kind of in it. I try to recreate that in-person experience by keeping the classes pretty small and making sure that I know the people who are coming, they get kind of personalized attention. It's not like just tuning into a YouTube video. They're more interactive, more engaging. We normally chat at the beginning and the end. And then I'm also doing some on demand for people whose schedules don't allow them to jump into the other classes.
So I'm kind of like a novice at what you just said, like the online classes that you offer. So do you mind sharing, like, is there a certain software that you use or
Yeah,
so?
it that was definitely a bit of a learning curve. There's a lot of options out there. And so it took some research and it took some digging around and doing some demos to find something that would work. And it's kind of a combination of things. I use one software system called Vagaro to handle all the booking. So all the classes are set up on there with descriptions and how many people can go in a class, what the classes cost. That handles all the payment processing and collects all the taxes. It does all of that. And then once somebody signs up, they get a link to a Zoom class. So just like what we're doing here, They get that link, they click on it, it pulls up the Zoom, and then we're all in a room. It's great because they can mute themselves. They can have their video on or off, whatever they're more comfortable with, whatever they prefer. I can record if I want to, and then add those to the on-demand library. And if people are just really comfortable, I think, with the Zoom interface, so it was an easy option to do. So it's kind of a two-part system. It's, I think, working pretty well. I had a couple of hiccups early on figuring out some of the features, but it's been really good. And actually my hair salon uses the same software. So a couple of times when I've gotten stuck, I've texted my hairstylist and have been like, can you help me?
So it sounds like you had a very rewarding experience, though.
Yeah, it's been great. I initially thought that some of the people I was used to seeing regularly in the gym might come to some of my online classes while the gym was closed. I certainly didn't want them to leave the gym permanently, but in that kind of interim, when they couldn't be at the gym, I thought I might see some of them. And that hasn't been the case. It's actually a whole new group of people. And a lot of them are people that I know either personally or through various connections, friends of friends, that kind of thing. And it's really been like a joy. You know, some days I'm kind of working from home. I'm in my house all day. I see my husband and my dog, and that's about it. And it can be just a real light to log on and see all these kind of smiling faces and get to share that 30 minutes or an hour with another group of people.
Okay. So I do want to ask this because I know you are very positive and I love that about you. But do you mind sharing, like, if you had any type of experience that was less pleasant when you were pivoting, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a little hit or miss sometimes. So it started off really strong. I think everybody was kind of looking for things to do, and the classes were really big. I mean, not really big, but they were pretty big. They were popular. And then I think people started to get kind of Zoom fatigue. The kind of newness wore off, or their schedule shifted, and then gyms started opening back up. So I saw kind of a drop in attendance for a while and had to find some more ways to market it. And I'm still working my full-time job at the same time. So I'm kind of carving out parts of my day to try to market and reach out to more people and kind of keep it going. So I think really the hardest thing is kind of riding those waves. You know, it's not always going to be a home run. Some weeks might not be as good. You know, some classes might get canceled because nobody signs up. And I've done a lot of tweaking to my class schedule to kind of adjust with people's lives. You know, early on, everybody was working from home. So a lot of people could do a lunch class or a class earlier in the evening. And now more people are back in the office. So we're accommodating for commuting time and just kind of shifting things around a little bit seasonally too. It changes what people want to do and what they can do and what other activities they're doing. So I think just learning to kind of not take it personally, I guess. You know, those people haven't left because they didn't like me. I mean, maybe they did, but I think a lot of it is more, you know, just, you know, accommodating different schedules and working with my regular customers to figure out what works. And so we've done a lot of I've done a lot of surveys and outreach saying, if I added a class, you know, at these times, would any of these work? Are you interested in this? And that's really where the on-demand came from. I ended up adding like a small on-demand library. It's about 20 videos right now. I offer it at a pretty low price point so that people who can't come to a regular class can still jump on demand.
Okay. So my last question to you, and this is all about your business. I'm very interested. So Kinetic Energy Core. So why that name? What is it about your boutique?
Yeah, so Kinetic Energy Core and Cardio kind of encapsulates a lot of things. My ultimate goal is to combine my two passions, which are Pilates, which is a largely core intensive exercise, and then a cardio component. I'm a competitive marathoner, and road racer here in town. And I want to kind of bring those two things together. I think when we talk about kind of whole body fitness and both mental and physical fitness, like feeling good about yourself, I think bringing all those things together can be really helpful. And kinetic energy came from, it's a physics term, and kinetic energy is the potential capacity to do work. And so I think it's a really fun way of thinking about the exercise you do is you contributing to your well-being. You know, that's the work you're putting in. And the name also came from, I think a lot of men are kind of scared of things that are called like Pilates or yoga. And so I wanted the name to not be super feminine. I wanted it to feel pretty inclusive and kind of all encompassing for people of all backgrounds, all genders, all races. You know, everybody's welcome here. So I wanted to make sure that the name didn't feel pigeonholed into any one group.
Excellent. I really like the name. So that's why
Thank you.
I was like, that's a really cool name. So the last thing is, if you could just tell us how we can find you, you know.
Yeah. I am at kineticenergy.fit. That's the website, that's Instagram, that's Facebook. We do a lot of fun Instagram posts. I've got a contest going on right now that's a play on the word Pilates and tying that back to like Thanksgiving pie. So there's normally some social media contests, there's some giveaways. I'm fortunate to work with some different sponsors who kick in goodies for me to do little giveaways with, and then little workouts and snippets of videos on Instagram. And then kineticenergy.fit is where you can book or join for on demand.
Miss Green, you've been awesome. Thank you for your time, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Toni. I appreciate all the help that I got from the SBDC to get it going.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to work with you. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Toni.